But now, especially with Stable Diffusion, you have all these different startups using Stable Diffusion to do various different things. Same thing with ChatGPT. And so it's going to be pervasive. It's going to be commoditized. It's going to be everywhere. And so what is it that makes your brand really be something I want to be part of and use it beyond the usability of that tool that you're giving me?
Can you talk a little bit about how you see kind of branding and this world of branding being influenced by these technologies that are here and improving exponentially?
We've commoditized photography by putting a camera in nearly everyone's pocket on the planet, and yet there's still this distinction, I guess, from really great photography and framing and composition and lighting and so on and so on. Of course, I think with advancements in those cameras that I'm talking about on your phone, nearly everyone now can take a good looking photo. But still, I think that telling a story of photography is a whole other level. With brands, I think, and with logos in particular, there's always been this idea that your logo and your brand, specifically your mark, are meant to just be immutable. That you create this thing that is meant to be memorable, and people are supposed to recognize it and take with them, and in a way, hopefully, see themselves with that brand. There's some hope that there's some tying between your identity and that brand, right? So you're looking for your tribe a bit. However, I think that where we're going to head is more of a, as we commoditize AI everywhere, I think customers are going to want to understand what your brand is all about. Like, why should I care more than any other time, right? Because I think these technologies are going to be, we already see in the startup world where, yes, you have ChatGPT, yes, you have Midjourney and Stable Diffusion and those kinds of techs. But now, especially with Stable Diffusion, you have all these different startups using Stable Diffusion to do various different things. Same thing with ChatGPT. And so it's going to be pervasive. It's going to be commoditized. It's going to be everywhere. And so what is it that makes your brand really be something I want to be part of and use it beyond the usability of that tool that you're giving me? And I think that seeing yourself in that brand, having more of a personal connection with that brand and the way that brand looks and feels might be one of those steps that takes you closer to that brand. What if brand were generative? What if the way that you recognize Google or Microsoft or Apple or any brand for that matter is really just that specific shape? And I'm now talking only about one little pocket, right? Maybe it's just a shape for the moment. And maybe it expresses itself just for me. So maybe there are 8 billion ways, right, on the planet that people will have their own logo that's just for them. Yes, the shape retains the same structure and form, but it expresses itself differently just for me. And I think then the role of a brand designer is to kind of curate that, like, what are the edges? What are the swim lanes for expression within that brand?
It'll be interesting to see how people inside these companies are taught and enabled by creatives and designers like us to think about the control of this asset that represents a massive legal entity, a corporation, in a new way. Because it's one thing to set the tool up to create that and to generate it for people, but it's another one for the organization to almost embrace that and appreciate it. I think that's going to be a different journey altogether.
Maybe there was a great recipe for a chicken noodle soup or whatever it is that I was looking for by someone that was independent. And I think based on my needs, like um, some of my family doesn't eat gluten, right? And so, or somebody else has a different certain allergy. Like, how can I, tailor all my needs, all my likes and dislikes in the context of whatever else is that I'm eating as part of that meal?